Newcastle United fans, what a time to be alive. Unbelievable stuff here on 1-0, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. We are going to discuss the Newcastle United takeover, which has just hit official news a couple of hours ago, and it is insane vibes. Okay, St. James Park is going off. Black and white has never looked so good. Now, please, if you enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, do all that business. End of the year 2021 is coming to an end soon, so let's help run the channel up, do all that business. Thank you very much. Now, if you've been living under a rock, especially today, Newcastle United has officially been bought by PCP Capital Partners and RB Sports and Media. So they've been bought by huge Saudi leaders, okay? And it's a takeover that's estimated to be around $409 million, £300 million, which is insane money. Now, those are some of the finer details. I'm sure you can find some more. Still, there's a lot of things up in the air, but I was watching an interview with the new director today who's saying that in 5 to 10 years, Newcastle's goal is to win a Premier League title. Okay, so it's massive stuff for Newcastle. It's massive stuff for the Premier League. It's massive stuff for football because we're seeing sort of Manchester City and Chelsea repeat to an extent. Man City, before they got bought, they'd been relegated before. They were just there, you know, they weren't the big mega house that we know them to be as of today. Whereas Newcastle are in that very similar position. This takeover was rumoured to be happening last year. The Premier League stopped that for whatever reason. Now, one of the biggest inspirations for me in wanting to start this was True Geordie, and he's got it in his name. Big Newcastle fan, he's from Newcastle, and seeing him and how passionate he is in wanting Mike Ashley gone, you know, wanting all these, you know, the players and all this sort of stuff. The players sometimes aren't even the biggest issue. It's sort of where it stems from, and that's one of the most important things when it comes to running a club. So in this video, I'm going to give you through what I think they should do in the next 5 to 10 years, the players they should sign and all that sort of stuff. So first of all, Mike Ashley's gone. I think so many Newcastle fans will be so happy that happens, because he really, it's almost like he's been holding them on a leash, not ready to let them go. Okay, he's been a bit stingy with his investment. Steve Bruce is for a manager, okay, he'll do the job signing. Okay, whereas Newcastle, they're one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League. They're one of the biggest fan bases in the Premier League, in England, in the world even. And the results haven't really shown. And through that, you know, St. James, from what I hear, is one of the best atmosphere stadiums to go to. It should be on everyone's bucket list because they're just mental. So what's going to happen now? They've got to get a lot of money, and assuming that these investors put this money into improving the club from bottom to top, so top players, investing in the youth, all that sort of stuff. If I'm Newcastle United, I know we've seen all the signings of the Salah and Mbappe. They've got to go sign for Newcastle. They've got to sign Haaland, all that sort of stuff, which is all great. Have fun with it, enjoy it. Like, you know, it's a bit of banter. What Newcastle, if I was in Newcastle's position, I think it's most important for Newcastle to go and sign players who are good mid-table players, but also just squad players. They should be making a squad. I'm looking at players. I'm looking at 2 kids from Chelsea if I'm Newcastle. 2 kids from Chelsea who have gone on to loan this season. Billy Gilmore, Conor Gallagher. These are the sort of players that I'd be targeting if I'm Newcastle. Young players who are very exceptional players, but they know that they can keep them for the next 10 years. Going out for your Mbappe and all that stuff, it's cool, it's fun. The likelihood of it actually happening, very low. Man City did a similar thing. They went and got good players, but not your mega superstars. I think Newcastle have to take the same approach. I look at someone like a Richarlison from Everton. Somebody like Richarlison and St. Maximin up front, that would do some damage in the Premier League. You know, the place, honestly, Donny van de Beek, go inquire. Hey Donny, we're going to make you our top guy, which you are not at Manchester United. Players like that, I think, is the best option for Newcastle to take. They'd much rather build a full team as opposed to getting your star. They'd be able to sign one big name player purely for shirts. Whether that is the Donny van de Beek or they do go and sign a, you know, I personally wouldn't do it, but maybe they go sign a Philip Coutinho, something like that. That's my approach that I take, but I think more importantly, Newcastle need to do more with the youths. Okay, you don't want players like, you know, like an Owen and like a Carrick who had to leave because Newcastle sort of has a ceiling. Let's make that ceiling way bigger. You don't have to leave Newcastle. You can stay in your hometown area. You can stay at your hometown club where you played with the youth league. You don't have to leave to go and play for Manchester, Liverpool, Chelsea. You can stay right here and do it. It's going to be difficult. It's not going to happen like that. They've got to have a 2-3 years where it's interesting football. It's people got to start to wrap their heads around it. But we look at maybe 10-15 years to come, Newcastle could very well easily be top 6 club. Very well easily be. They could knock out Leicester from that sort of conversation. Spurs, it's huge. This is massive. It's a massive, massive day for football. It's a massive day for Newcastle fans. Now, what's the first change they make? I think it's the one that all the fans call for. I think it's Steve Bruce goes. They're obviously not going to be an unbelievable team for the rest of the season. They might make splash in the January transfer window, but they're going to be the same sort of team that they are now. We can't expect changes like that. I think the first change they make is Steve Bruce. And this could be their sort of big name signing that they make. It might not even be a player. They could possibly go and try to lure a Zidane and Antonio Conte. They could. There's every possibility they could go and sign a huge manager, overpay for him. Very well possibility, but Newcastle could very well easily go and overpay for a huge manager, Zidane and Antonio Conte, and say, hey, this is your team for the next 5 to 10 years. We're going to support you, we're going to back you, do what you want. Okay, we can't guarantee you European football right now, because European football is still a massive factor, a huge, huge factor, massive factor. Just ask Arsenal. We can't guarantee you European football for now, but you are going to be the first manager of this brand new Newcastle outlook, and you're going to be the manager that's going to be remembered for many years to come, because we are going to back you with the players and the support that you need. And I think that's the most important thing. If I'm a Newcastle United fan, I actually started Newcastle United career mode yesterday too, by the way, so maybe you're welcome, Newcastle fans. If I'm a Newcastle United fan, I'd prioritise getting a very, 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 very good manager, and a manager who you know you can get behind, and his philosophy of football you can get behind, as opposed to signing this cool player just because it's a bit trendy. Okay, I'd much rather build a team. You've got some good players in there. You know, Jamal Lewis, I think, is a good player. You've obviously got Saint Maximin, you know, Joe Willock. These players aren't going to get shifted off straight away. But I think really like a Donny van de Beek could be an unbelievable signing. Like I mentioned before, European football still a huge factor. So that's why I'm saying I think we can keep a lid on it for now. Newcastle fans, be over the moon, enjoy it, be ecstatic, you deserve it. But I think as a neutral fan and as a non-Newcastle United fan, we have to look and say, okay, they're not going to be a mega powerhouse next year. I assume so. 5 to 10 years, it could be different. You know, the director of football came out today, and she clearly had a clear vision for the club. She knew what the importance that Newcastle United Football Club have on the town of Newcastle. 5 to 10 years, we want to win a Premier League title. That's massive, and it takes cojones to say that. You know, she also said that they don't want to over promise. Okay, so they don't want to go and say, yeah, in 3 years we're going to qualify for the Champions League. In 5 years we're going to win the Premier League. In 10 years we're going to be doing the double. You don't want that, because automatically you set expectations, and expectations are just there to maybe be ruined. So overall, I think it's insane day for Newcastle. A bit of an urgent video. The 5 players I'd prioritise for Newcastle: Gallagher, Billy Gilmore, Richarlison, Donny van de Beek. I'm focusing on the Premier League, and this could be an interesting one. Bobby Firmino. It's a bit out there. Bobby Firmino. I'll leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are on this Newcastle United takeover. Who do you think they should sign first? Do you think they should prioritise big name players as opposed to building a real squad and getting a solid manager? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this? What do you think the importance this has on the Premier League and in football? Because we're seeing another huge takeover happen, showing that money really talks. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I'm Costas. This is 1-0. Catch you next week.